Questions 1 to 5 of Des O'Neill Test 1. So for this question, we have a lot of information going on in the stem. We have a chunk of text at the start, a formula, a diagram, and a legend. For me, the most important bits to take away is locating the epithelium as a layer of the blood vessel, the fact that different things lead to a contraction and a relaxation, and the fact that a plus leads to a positive impact and a minus leads to inhibition. So question 1 asks, what is the effect of the cellular absorption of a true natriuretic peptide on the blood vessel diameter? Cellular absorption in the context of the stem means A and P entering the cell. Cellular diameter is linked to contraction or relaxation. A says, if we locate A and P in the diagram, A says A and P and NO. So if we locate A and P in the diagram and follow the arrows attached to it, we find that it ultimately leads to PKG inhibiting contraction. What does NO do? NO ultimately also leads to PKG inhibiting contraction. So the effects are not opposite and A is wrong. With B, A and P opposes the release of K plus from the cell. If we find K plus being released from the cell, we see that there is no arrow leading onwards from it. It is unrelated to A and P, so therefore B is also wrong. C and D are opposites. One says increasing diameter, the other says decreased. We saw from A that A and P inhibits contraction. So diameter would increase here, leading to option D. Question 2 asks, given that PDE inactivates CAMP, what will occur if methylxanthines are administered? So from the diagram, we can see that methylxanthines inhibit PDE. And what does PDE do? PDE ultimately inactivates pKa, which inhibits contraction. So contraction will be inhibited if PDE cannot do its thing. Option A and B both talk about molecules that are unrelated to PDE's inhibition. They are not linked at all. C and D again are opposites, with C being the right answer consistent with what we worked out before. Question 3 asks, if administered, which of the following will result in a rise in blood pressure? A rise in blood pressure in this case means increase in contraction. A, calcium channel blockers prevents the receptor from producing increased calcium, therefore inhibiting contraction. So A is wrong. B says alpha agonists, which ultimately promotes contraction if we follow the arrow, making it the correct answer. Neither of C or D promotes contraction, rather they both inhibit if the arrows are followed considering the plus and minus signs. On to question 4, which asks, which of the following pairs would have opposite effects on blood vessel diameter? So by opposite effects, we are looking for one that contracts and the other one that relaxes. The first option says endothelin and calcium channel blockers. Endothelin, if following the arrows, leads to contraction. There are only plus signs allowing for the pathway to continue. The pathway is, however, inhibited by the calcium channel blockers. If we follow the pathway, contraction would have been promoted. So A is correct. Looking at the other options, all pairs have the same function. In B, they both lead to contraction, and in C and D, both lead to relaxation. Question 5 is a theory question. From my experience, the exam will not require this much prerequisite knowledge. For information though, the answer is B.